riding down a YouTube channel. It's the riding down a YouTube channel. It's the riding down a YouTube channel. It's the riding down a
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Riding Dad channel video, or welcome if it's your first time. Either way, very glad to have you. Still can't believe really I have this. You guys saw the first video on this, and it was basically my new bike review. I have wanted an MT07, or at least something in the MT lineup, for many years now. Pretty much ever since I figured out what they were. I know, well, you know what? There's no reason to talk about the bike because I'm just saying stuff I already said in the video you guys watched before. So, without further ado, let us do, well, the first mod on video, technically the second mod. The first mod I did was just put these rocks, they're 1.5 inches up and like diagonally back. They're not technically risers. Technically the riser would be like what I've done on the Harley where it's the full thing. These are like riser add-ons or extensions, I guess, whatever you want to call them. But they basically bolt, instead of your stock top riser clamp, they bolt there and then they push up and back, according to these, about 1.5 inches, which for me is perfect. I'm 5'7", and it just puts it a little bit more instead of leaning all the way. I'm still, you know, you still can lean down if you want, but you can sit pretty much upright if you really want, if you're going, you know, below 45, 50-ish something miles an hour. If I have some red lines on my head or whatever, it's because I just got back from about an 1.5 hour ride, actually about a 2-hour ride on it. I put about 100 miles on it with these and a new helmet, which you guys will see a review of it in, I don't know, several months, because I gotta vet it. You know, I don't just talk about helmets right away. But anyway, we're doing, they're called captive or spooled captive chain adjusters. So basically, with most metric bikes, they already from the factory, well, pretty much every bike that I've ever seen has chain adjusters from factory. Metric bikes, especially once you get past 125, 150-ish cc, usually have pretty good ones, OEM. However, the issue with this bike is there's no factory location to put spools on the back, and I did want spools. Yes, you can get the, I am having an aneurysm when it comes to what it's called, the bar, you know, where you put it under the bike in the back to lift it up. Motorcycle stand. There we go, got it. Motorcycle stand. You can get motorcycle stands. I've had them in the past that just have like little 90-degree channels, like little arms, and you put them under the swing arm. Yes, absolutely. Are those the easiest? No. Do they work? Yes. However, the one that I specifically got, which you guys will see a video at some point on it, requires spools. And there's a reason why I wanted that specific one. Again, you guys will see that in the future. Anyway, OEM stuff can usually be improved upon to begin with. So what I went ahead and got was these chain adjusters from TST. So basically, TST Industries. Basically what they're gonna look like, which this is the left side. So this is gonna be on this side of the bike. It's gonna take the place of the stock adjuster, which I can't tell. I don't think it's plastic, honestly, but it might be. We'll see in a few minutes when we get over there. But so that's gonna take the place. This is what it means by captive. This nut on there that is responsible for adjusting, you know, the length of it in and out from the swing arm to adjust your chain tension. That's captive, so it can never come off, which is nice. And then you can get these, you know, by themselves if you really want them, and they would come like that. But what I did was the package deal, obviously, from TST with these spools. So now, and these do have a spool. They're like you can pick any color and you can keep changing them up. They're like a rubber protector, like a plastic sleeve that fits over it, which you guys will see on the final install when I do it. But basically you bolt these in, which of course we're gonna use some thread locker on there. And now you have spools and an upgraded chain adjuster, kind of all in one. There you go. And it's a very nice part. I believe they're CNC'd. Yeah, you can see the tooling marks. They're CNC'd, but they're not in a bad way that you can see the tooling marks. It's a very well done, well finished part. And let's go ahead, scooch over to the bike. The reason why I'm doing this as my first ever install is because now for everything else I do, I can put the stand up there, and it's just going to be a lot easier to work on the bike and even potentially store the bike, because having it upright, 90 degree to the ground is a lot less space taking up than having it leaned over and you have all that extra space there. So I'll go ahead and move you closer to the bike. Should be fairly self-explanatory, but well, I never cease to amaze myself. All right, so the first step is going to be to take off the stock chain adjusters, which on this 25 MT07 happen to be a 12 millimeter nut. So you're going to take off the locking nut. We are going to reuse this one, so set this one aside. And then you're going to loosen the actual adjuster itself, which happen to be a little bit loose. And you're going to take the nut, the washer, and the actual chain adjuster itself off. Set that off to the side. We're not going to be reusing any of that. Now, this is the part that might become a little difficult, and I am going to put just a tad bit of grease along the inside here. All the metal kind of surfaces where that new axle adjuster is going to fit in, because it's a CNC machined metal part. Tolerances are very tight, and hopefully we can get her in there without having too much of an issue. All right, so this is the new part with the captive adjuster. All right, make sure you install it right and not like I almost just didn't. You start threading that on. As you thread that on, make sure that the adjuster itself is going into the swing arm accordingly. You might have to give it some encouragement as you're threading it on. The new nut happens to be a 14. And the good news is, once this is on for the first time, you won't ever have to put it on again. It'll just stay in there, right? Every time you take your wheel off or your axle off, whatever, the chain adjusters, the interior of this and everything else will just stay in there. All right, you never have to put this part back on. What just happened there, huh? Did it strip? Get too much. It's still screwing on. Honestly, I'm not sure what just happened there. It did freak me out a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, being that this was a brand new bike. Maybe there was just a little piece of tooling somewhere that popped off or whatever. Or maybe that just had to fit inside a channel and snap, but it's good now. It's actually going in very loosely. Not loose, but a lot smoother than it was before. And clearly everything is still tightened up and working, so I don't know. I really don't know. So obviously this is a perfect time, especially if your bike is a little bit older or you've ridden several miles since your last chain adjustment, to just go ahead and adjust the chain. For me, like I said, it's a 2025. I have about 150 miles on it right now. There will be no chain adjusting right now. So you don't want to tighten this too much, because then you're going to potentially move the axle, but you do want to snug it up to where it was originally, if that is something that, or if your chain is in a good spot like mine was. Go and take that locking nut from factory, snug that up so nothing moves. Okay, now we are ready to do the fun part, which is the whole reason I got this, and install the spools themselves. So we have two options. We can either do TST Industries upright and made in the USA on the bottom, or made in the USA up top and TST Industries on the bottom. I'm going to choose to do TST Industries on the top and made in the USA on the bottom. Of course, this is a this is a part that we're not going to be you know, removing or whatever. So we do want to use some thread locker. I got some blue thread locker, which, side note on the thread locker, in the past I've always used Permatex, honestly. And I've liked it. However, I gotta say, the bottle quality of the larger bottles for thread locker or Loctite brand thread locker, any color with this, the way the nozzle works and the cap and everything, light years better than the Permatex. I absolutely hated the Permatex one. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure what that's for. I don't know if that's another spool option that TST has or somebody else has or whatever. But these do not fit in that hole, so definitely not for these spools. So finger tight, and then time to ratchet it down. Yes, I'm sure these have a torque spec. No, I'm not going to follow it. Yes, do at your own risk whatever you choose to do. And it's going to be a little, okay, it's going to be a little harder to center that than I thought originally, because it will move 100% once you start tightening it. Yeah, I think that's going to be good enough. I don't want to risk tightening it anymore, and that's very, very close to upright, especially if the bike is not leaning over anymore. So there you go. And just to compare, again, that's what it looks like right now. And this was the old part, which, by the way, was not plastic, it was metal. The Grom, I know they had at least my Grom had plastic pieces, so that's why I was unsure if this was plastic, but it is not. This is metal, but it is a really, this is the stamped, which there was nothing wrong with this. This works fine, works a heck of a lot better than the ones on the Harleys that I'm used to. So the axle slider itself, the chain adjuster itself worked really well, but this, you know, and yes, they do have kind of pass-through where you can put it on the axle, and that's the spool. Couple benefits to this. You can adjust the axle independently of this, like if you're spooling it, if you have the stand up, right? So if I got to adjust my chain and I'm using the stand and my spools are here, kind of difficult. I do intend to get some axle sliders on there just to protect, you know, that just in case. But yeah, there you go. And then the final piece de resistance, which I didn't even think about this. I guess it doesn't, or actually I think you're supposed to put this on. You know what? In full transparency, everybody, I screwed it up. I'll be honest with you, I could have cut this, but I didn't. You're supposed to put this on first because that's what holds that on and that's where the bolt is. So it doesn't really matter what you have going on there, because no one's going to see it anyway. Yes, you could run these without this little plastic piece, of course. But the cool thing is there's the color accents, and you can change these out whenever you want also, which is cool too. So just put the bolt in there first, and then pushed it into, maybe that's, I'm going to make a liar out of myself. All right, let's try to push it on there first, and then get the bolt on there. It is a tight fit, which is good. Start one side. Oh, I think that's actually it. Doesn't go any farther. Okay, yeah, so it looks like there's a lip that would go kind of like around, but it doesn't because there's that plastic piece that stops. So that's as far as you get. Now this plastic one does say TST Industries on it. I have a feeling it's going to be even harder to center than the metal one. Yep. That really wants to turn, so let's try. That's not going to be enough. All right, let's try there. And keep in mind, guys, this doesn't have to be insanely tight, especially if we put thread locker on it. This part is not going to be a normal like friction part or whatever. You're literally just going to wind up using this when you spool up the bike. And you don't need it to be that tight, you just need it to be secure with a good bolt, which they supply some pretty nice bolts. So there you go. And again, if this was blue, it would match the wheels. If you had black wheels and you have green accents or red accents, whatever, you can put a different color on this. They got white, they got black also, so you can just put a plain plastic protector just for black on there. But I think they look good. And more importantly, they're gonna work really good. So let's do the other side real quick. All right, so the new chain adjusters with the spools are on. Very excited to use them with the stand. Very excited to show you guys the stand because it's pretty cool. It's relatively new. They've been out for a little bit, this style, but this one specifically is relatively new. It's got very good reviews, so I'm excited to try it. But yeah, so these are on, so hopefully that makes adjustments in the future even better than with the stock ones. Having that captive nut on there is nice, just knowing that it's not going to, like, so another benefit of that captive nut, if you need to, while the axle is loose, if you need to push the wheel back in, that'll help. It's easier to do that versus just undoing it, you know, because those chain tensioner blocks are pushed into that swing arm. But I don't know, maybe even increase rigidity with swing arm just a tiny bit, just because they go about an inch in and the other ones only went in like maybe an eighth of an inch. Either way, I got them mainly because of the spools, and the spools are great. They'll help. So yeah, let me know what you think of the install. Let me know if you think this product is garbage and TST sucks. I've heard very good things about TST, so I have some LED lighting possibly in the future from them that I'm going to do. And TST, thanks for making stuff for the 25 MT07, because not a lot of people do as far as that style product, because it's still relatively newish at this point. But yeah, thank you guys for watching very much. Instagram, TikTok, everything, you know, like, subscribe, helps me out, helps the channel out. Definitely helps the new build series out. But yeah, let me know what you want to see done to this bike. If you got any other ideas or things you think I should do or definitely should not do to this bike. But either way, catch you guys on the next time. Thank you. Ride safe. Have fun. Dad